Once upon a time, I was a doctor, a thriving doctor. I was really good, in fact, that in my last year of practicing medicine, I had been awarded the best doctor in the organization. That's how good I was. But then I made the switch from practicing medicine to actually going full scale with business. And currently, I can say that I've been able to build a thriving farming business. Currently, I have over 17,000 chickens on the farm, over 100 goats and sheep, and currently diversifying and moving deeper into dairy farming. I've been able to also build the Farm Up Academy, which is an online platform where I train people all around the world how to start and have thriving poultry farms. And I'm also branching into agrotourism very soon. I've actually already started on that journey with buying multiple pieces of land in really strategically located places. So I can definitely say that I have thrived and figured out how to succeed as a poultry farmer and as a business person. But how did I make this transition? How did I transition from being a doctor, a really good doctor, actually a passionate doctor, to someone who has actually become very successful when it does come to farming? Because I'll be honest with you, it's not easy. Most people who do try it fail. In fact, a lot of people have so much fear about doing it because the risks are so much. Now, in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you how exactly I moved and prepared myself to move from being a doctor to actually thriving right now as a farmer. So if that is you and you're interested and you want to do, a switch or something that's similar to that, then you're in the right place. Before I actually talk about the journey, a lot of people ask me why I switched, why I left medical practice and decided to go and be a farmer, because a lot of people do believe it's a noble profession. So, you're treating people, you're healing people. Well, I wouldn't say healing, but yeah, you're giving them treatment and hoping that they will heal. And then, you're doing the very best to change the world. So they believe that, you're leaving something that's very noble, going into something that's not, well, it's good, but not as significant. Yeah. So why did I leave it? Was I not passionate about it? Didn't I love it? Why did I spend so many years in medical school studying medicine only for me to go ahead and leave it? First of all, I want to tell you guys that I was very passionate about being a medical doctor. Yeah. I loved every day of the work that I did. I used to do surgeries most of the time that I was at work, and I enjoyed doing these surgeries. The thing is that as soon as the surgery was done, I felt very empty. Yeah. As soon as the act of doing surgeries was done, I felt very empty. And that would probably take up maybe 5-6 hours maximum of your time during the day. The rest of the time, I felt like I wasn't in something that, would give me purpose. Yeah. So besides the actual act of carrying out the surgery, I didn't feel like I was fulfilled. So then, was my medical school and time in medical school a waste of time? No, completely not. And I believe that this is something that a lot of people fundamentally get wrong. A lot of people create their identity in their profession, and this kills who you are. If you feel that you're going to study, let's say 5 years, become a doctor. For me, my training as a doctor was 6 years. So 5 years of medical school plus 1 year of internship. So 6 total years for you to become a doctor. And then after the 6 years of you study to become a doctor, your whole identity as a person becomes medicine. Outside medicine, you don't feel like you exist. You feel like your life outside medicine is completely different from who you are. Then you're going to be in very big trouble, because life is more than just the 6 years or 5 years, or I don't know, whatever amount of years that you spend training for your profession. If everything about you is the fact that you're a lawyer or you're an engineer or whatever else you study, imagine how pathetic life is. Imagine you're a driver, a car driver, and then you get in an accident and your arm is cut off, and all your identity around your life has been around the fact that you're a driver. All of a sudden, you're not going to have any sense of purpose, because you can't do what you built your identity around, and your life is going to end. So I personally believe that that kind of mindset, that kind of thought pattern is completely wrong. And for me, I don't feel any regrets in the fact that I did medicine. Actually, I'm really glad that I did it, because it taught me a lot of things that I most probably would never have learned if I didn't go the medicine route. For example, dedication and, doing a very, very tough course at the university teaches you to be very dedicated, to not give up, and to endure through difficult circumstances. So I'm honestly very, very grateful that I went that route. So in all honesty, I enjoyed it. But then I left it because I felt like there is more for me, or there was more that I could do for me to be able to realize my personal dreams. Now, we all do have personal dreams. For me, part of my dreams was to be able to travel. I'll be direct with this without lying. Yeah, I wanted to be able to afford to travel the world. And to be able to afford to travel the world, I mean, making $1,000 every month cannot cut it for you. Yeah, I don't know what some of you in other countries do earn as doctors over there, but doctors in Uganda don't earn as well. Yeah, I mean, at that point I was earning like $800. If I did well, I would probably be earning $1,000. And $1,000, if you're going to be having a family, you're going to be having kids, you're going to be having all these things, it simply means that it's so difficult for you to live as a human being and actually be able to travel. Yeah. So realize that, personally, it was never going to cut it for me. So I decided that I was going to come up with business ideas. Now, this is actually something that I knew from way back. From my 4th year in medical school, at that point I was probably like 22. I knew it deep down in my heart that I'm not going to be practicing medicine for the rest of my life because it was just never going to give me the freedom and the finances that I personally wanted. So from very early on, I strategized to come up with a business. Throughout my internship, while I was practicing internship, I spent a lot of time trying to discover and learn and get as many businesses and business ideas as possible, so that as soon as possible, I'm able to afford living the kind of life that I wanted to live. For me to afford to, quit and probably start a business or do something else. So I was very, very strategic. You see, it's a mindset thing. A lot of people ask me and they're like, how were you able to make such a bold move? Man, that was very bold of you. That was such a bold decision. And yes, for someone who just looks at me from the outside, it's easy for them to think that, it was some very tough decision. For me, it wasn't as tough because it is something that I had thought about for so long, over very many years. And, this is something that had slowly grown in my mind. So for me, the transition wasn't as tough as people think because I had prepared for it. Mentally, I had prepared for it. When I got to the point that, I have to decide to start a business, of course, in the end, I zeroed down to starting a farm. And I don't want to go, in great detail about how I came across that decision of actually it being farming. But in the end, I decided that I was going to be doing a farm. And when I decided to do a farm, I decided that I'm going to go full blast with it. And I feel like this is the one reason why a lot of people, when they do decide to start businesses in addition to their employment, or they do decide to start something else, the other things that they do usually don't thrive or succeed as much. Why? Because they don't go in with as much dedication. They don't go in with as much commitment. They don't go in with as much purpose as they do require to go in with. Personally, when I went into farming, I knew that I'm going to be doing farming as a business. So for example, when I chose to start or to get the name Farm Up, I didn't just wake up and decide to get the name Farm Up, because I knew that I was going to start with chickens. But I didn't restrict my name or the company name or the business name to chickens, because I knew that at a particular point I might want to diversify into different kinds of things. So I was very, very focused on ensuring that I get something that will certainly serve me for a long time, and I won't need to keep changing names over a long time. So you can say that I had a long-term vision in my mind. Another one is when I decided to make content, I decided to make my content in English. I didn't make my content in my local language, because I also had an idea of appealing to a global audience. And if I'm going to be doing business, there's a possibility that I might have to do business in very many different countries. And so right from the start, I want to build a strong foundation of something that will ensure that, I have a bigger and larger audience that I can appeal to when it does come to the business. So you can see that when I was starting everything, I didn't just start it as a hobby. I didn't just start it as something to serve my village or, the people close to me. I started it as something to serve the general bigger population, and something that I believed was going to thrive and become very big. So that's how I went wide right from the start. And so because of that, I made a lot of business-like decisions. If I was trying to learn, I was very focused on ensuring that, I learn and get all the skills and the knowledge that will ensure that the business thrive. I wasn't doing something subsidiary, something that's just going to make me, something small in the short term. My goal was long term, and I knew that if I'm going to be doing something long term, I need to build a very strong foundation, very deep roots, so that I can get as many great results as possible. So if you're that kind of person and you want, to switch, you need to make sure that right from the start, you know exactly what you're going to be doing. Now, it's understandable. Over time, goals and visions and dreams diverge and they could change completely. But right from the start, you need to be focused on what kind of business that you're going to be want. And now, when I decided to do that, I didn't quit medicine immediately. I decided to start the farm while concurrently practicing my medicine. Yeah. And that's something that a lot of people never realize. Because again, for me, I was lucky enough that my farm was like 20, 30 kilometers away from where I was working as a doctor. Some people, it might be like much further, 200, 300 kilometers. Some people, it is countries away. For example, I have people in the Farm Up Academy who are like in Australia and they're starting up their farms in Zimbabwe. Someone is in the US, they're starting up their farm in the DRC. Yeah. It's 100% possible. I want to tell you that it is possible. The one thing that I would advise is for you to first quit your job and then you start the business. That's very risky. Very, very risky. Yeah. The risk is so much. And just in case this thing doesn't work out, because for me it worked out the first time, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it will work out the first time for everyone. I need to be very realistic with this. Yeah. So you need to make sure that you have a contingency plan. And usually the best contingency plan you have is the job that you're still having. Yeah. Some people do have a lot of money saved up in the bank, in that if it fails the first time, they can still go back to the bank, get more money, from their savings and do it again and again. Most people don't have that. And so the best contingency plan you still do have is your job, which is what I personally did. Yeah. And by the time that I quit, the business was doing well enough. In fact, the business was paying me twice as much as the farm was paying me. And at that point, I could make the decision to quit. So I managed to quit and then dedicated a lot of the effort and, the knowledge and the skills that I do have to growing the farm. And that's how I was able to thrive and, slowly grow in numbers, multiply the number of birds and diversify into all these things. Yeah. Now, the key message I'm trying to pass across right here is that right from the beginning, you need to have a vision. You need to be very focused on exactly what you want to accomplish and understand, what path and what route you're going to be using for you to reach the target. And if you do that, it becomes very, very easy. Yeah. For me, again, a lot of people, when they find me, they can't believe that I managed to make the switch. But I laid a great foundation for me to be able to achieve this. And if you can do that, you'll thrive and you'll be amazed at the great results that you'll be able to get. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, smash the notification bell. If you want to join the Farm Up Academy, link in the description of this video so that you don't waste your years trying to learn from your mistakes. Catch you very soon with another one. Lots of love. Bye-bye.